So it's National Child Protection Week, and today we're joined by Debbie Wybrow, the director of the Wandisa Adoption Agency, as well as Nontando Mangala, a social worker from Wandisa Adoption Agency. We continue our chat about the importance of child safety and protection. So what do you want the outcome of Child Protection Week? Like, what do you want to see happening within this week?
Maybe I should start?
You start.
What I wish to see, at the end of this Child Protection Week, is to see professionals like myself, first of all, getting an understanding that institutionalization of children, that is, having children stuck in the children's homes, is not healthy for the development of the children.
Okay.
And yes, and by the way, it has to be the very last resort that we opt for. And we should strive and make sure that all children grow up in families. As the Hague Convention conference that was held in the University of the Western Cape in April, it was reiterated that institutionalization should be the last resort.
Debbie, what are some of the incredible stories that you've had and children coming back to visit you to say, look at me now, I've made a success of my life, all thanks to you and Wandisa?
I think the most incredible thing has just been to see the transformation in children. It's almost like every day we sit and we think about just surviving and how to overcome, and you see children literally thriving, shining in their environments. We had a picnic last year in New York, and we had 20 of our families join us. We had another one in Chicago.
What, with children from South Africa who'd been adopted from here and gone to New York?
Usually
I want somebody to adopt me and take me to New York.
Okay, so I can tell you it was in Central Park. It was absolutely incredible. And arriving at that picnic was a young woman who I'd last seen when she was 3. We've kept in touch via social media. It's not quite the same. She's a nurse. She drove herself there.
Incredible.
And just to see her interacting with children that much younger than her who are still transitioning is phenomenal. So our focus is very much, obviously, on working with children in South Africa, placing them with South African families. But we believe that family trumps everything. So if that means a family from somewhere else, particularly for children who are extraordinarily challenged, that's what we want to do.
And how do you tackle that? I'm sure a lot of people, there's a negative stigma attached to a child with disabilities, a child who's challenged, either whether it's learning or physical disabilities. Is there a way, do you feel there's more convincing, if that's a word, to have these children adopted, or is it as easy or smooth?
I think you would actually be astonished if you had to see that we have dozens of families waiting to adopt. Those are families who have already been screened and approved. In the last year, we placed a child with part of his brain missing, who will never walk or talk, who will never be independent. We work with cerebral palsy children, with Down syndrome children all the time. And just to see how they are being the very best that they can be makes everything worthwhile. It really, really does. And, for me as a lawyer, yes, it's a human rights issue. We're in this huge global crisis where we have all these parentless children. But it's far more than that. It's a case of us all having to say, each of us, I think at the end of this week, that's what we were saying as well. It's one question, and it's, do we believe that every child deserves to be parented and to be loved and nurtured? And if the answer is no, well, then don't do anything. But if the answer is yes, then Child Protection Week is a perfect platform to pull together in the spirit of Ubuntu and work together.
But what happens if somebody doesn't want to foster or to adopt a child? How else can they help? How else can they get involved and contribute?
There are a lot of organizations working with children. For example, Wandisa is a child protection organization. Those organizations are under threat with the proposed amendments, which are going to rule out the possibility of any social workers or lawyers or doctors charging fees for their services or even recouping expenses like conducting a blood test on a child.
Okay, what about volunteering? Can people volunteer? And what do you need, in other words, in those environments?
I think right now, because of the crisis with the law, I think we need people to unite and agree to put children first. So for me, I really feel that we could do with a lot more support for the Bayakanya petition as the first of many projects to do with child protection, and really stand together, ask for that to be pulled off the table. Let's sit together with everybody and rework it for the good of children. I mean, we've got the most phenomenal constitution in the world.
When it's enforced.
When it's enforced. But the gap is between that and reality.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, Jeannie, just to answer your question, I am in no shape, form, or way ready to have a child right now. Not financially, not emotionally, not mentally. But what I love to do on weekends, on Sundays, is just to go out. I go volunteer, whether it's a children's home, a children's hospital, an orphanage. The look on those little babas' faces when they see you walk through that door, because this is the time that they get the love, that they get the attention. Of course, the social workers and the nurses and the sisters, whether it's a Christian or Catholic home, they're of course taking care as much as they can, but they do need help. And they do need rest. So, you know, if you can go out there in your communities, if you know of a children's home or orphanage, get involved. I mean, there's so much help. There's so much love to be given out there. So I do encourage you to go out there and make a difference in any way you can.
That's beautiful. So thank you so much for being
our
on the show
pleasure.
today. And
Thank
I
you so
really
much,
think
Jenny.
everybody should, again, where can they visit to go and sign this petition?
Change.org.
Okay.
We'll pop onto social media the direct
Amazing.
link. It'll be the easiest way of doing that.
Exactly. And of course,
And
we are
also-
wearing our ribbons, doing our best.
Absolutely.
Protection Week.
And then also, obviously, on Facebook. I mean,
Yeah.
what would we do without Facebook?
And our website,
And your
afternoonexpress.co.za.
website. But both for Bayakanya and Wandisa. And then links are on there to all the other child protection organisations in the country. We all work together.
Oh, literally heavens on earth. Thank you so much
Thank
for all of the
you.
amazing work that you
been
do.
wonderful to be
So
here.
inspiring. So tomorrow, I'm most excited for this. We meet Seven de Laan award-winning actor Andre Lotter. I'm going to need to bring my asthma pump to the kitchen tomorrow because it's going to be hot.
Do you know, you sure you don't want to swap? I can work tomorrow.
Oh, we'll debate it. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Good night and God bless. Mwah.